Good day, everyone. Good day, America. Good day, planet Earth. I am Dana, the Angry Citizen, and I'm coming to you today on June 25th, Tuesday at 7:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have some very impressive guests that I wanted to bring to my audience. We've just actually concluded a podcast together moments ago. We're working out some of the tech issues, so I thought it's a good opportunity for us to continue that process and bring an important message to America. Now, you all know that there are freedom fighters everywhere trying very hard to bring accountability and transparency and justice to our government. And the two gentlemen I'm about to introduce you to both are absolutely blazing in that field, and I'm incredibly privileged to have met them. I've met a lot of amazing patriots in my quest for the truth and quest for freedom and accountability and justice and transparency in our government. And I feel like we're finally really coming together. So I'm very optimistic. So first and foremost, I've done a couple of podcasts with this gentleman. I met him through our mutual friend, Ohio Brett. God love you, Ohio Brett, out there, brother. You keep up the good work. This man is an amazing patriot, freedom fighter, and trying to establish justice, accountability, and transparency in his home state of Pennsylvania, where there is a lot of fraud, rampant corruption. And he is making strides down there and allying himself with some amazing patriots there. And you all know him as John Marietta. He is also known as Hillbilly John. That's my favorite way to describe him. And we're going to bring him on now. HTR, you with me, brother? We need to switch to John. Can you switch your camera like you did before?
Get into that.
We hear you. Hello, hello.
Mm-mm.
Technical issues abound.
Can you hear him?
I can't hear it.
Yes, he has himself muted.
No, I'm not muted. I'm live. Not muted. I swear I'm not muted. Really seriously not muted.
Works.
Why did we change stuff? Why did we change stuff? It was working. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. All right. Well, my guests appear to be having some technical issues, so we'll see if we can work that out. Good thing this is not important. Earbuds are good.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes.
We can't hear you, though.
I can't hear you.
I am broadcasting. I see it. It's working. Sound.
I should be able to hear you, though.
Yes.
Why am I not hearing you? I mean, everything's on this end. We're good.
I don't know.
I mean, hold on. Let me see if I got you volume. If I got anything here muted.
You must have me muted. There's no way it could be anything else. Hello to all of our viewers. I'm sorry I have nothing terribly exciting to offer you. We're still working our tech out here a little bit, so hopefully John and the special guest in the wings will be able to
be operating right now. I can't hear you, John or Dana.
I don't know why.
So, welcome to StreamYard. Ask me a question here. Let's just do this one. See, I can do it that way.
Hello.
So I am definitely transmitting. I can.
Now I hear you.
Watching myself. You hear me because I'm on John's phone?
Yeah, we can hear you on the phone.
Okay.
Can you hear us?
I hear you both perfect.
Okay, well.
I don't know why. I mean, I have you set up here. You should be coming in. You should be coming in perfect. I don't know.
Is your audio output set to the correct device?
Yes, everything's right. Everything's right. I have my microphones are working. They should be going into the feed.
Yeah, no, it's not a microphone issue. It's a sound output issue. If you can't hear me on the computer, it means your sound output is not set correctly or working correctly. Because my voice is passing. I can hear myself on Facebook. I'm watching the stream, and I hear myself clearly.
Hold on 1 second. I have an idea here. Let me try this. I'll take it out of my board. That's not gonna work.
Go ahead, give it a try.
It's got to go into here. Now,
if I had a hammer.
There we go. Okay.
That works.
All right, so you can hear me now?
Perfect.
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so if you couldn't hear my absolutely spectacular introduction before, I apologize because it was great stuff. And I built you guys up, and oh well. So
you know he's lying.
Back to basics. Hello, America. Hello, planet Earth. I'm Dana the Angry Citizen coming to you today, Tuesday. It is Tuesday evening at 7:31 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm here with two amazing guests, freedom fighters and patriots. We're going to start out with my friend, ally, and brother, John Marietta. You know him as Hillbilly John. Hillbilly John. Brother, good to have you here. Please take this opportunity to tell America who you are and what you're about. We all want to hear it.
Well, I'm John Marietta, and I am the hillbilly, and I'm here with Hutch, and we're trying to do this podcast, and we have one person that's very highly technical here and understands what's going on, and Hutch is trying to figure this out. But I am John Marietta. I'm from Fayette County. I'm the recorder of deeds down here. I do a radio show. It's called the Hillbilly John Show. Come check it out on Facebook. And we're trying to learn how to basically use the computer and StreamYard, and we're working on this all at the same time.
We're good, man. We're good. We're figuring it out. We all go through this. I went through this with Ohio Brett. Same thing.
Can you turn my volume down just a little bit?
He's saying I'm loud in his ears.
Trade me headphones. I can barely hear on these.
Beth is a dear friend of mine. Usually follows along. We appreciate you very much. Appreciate all you viewers out there. We're going to find out a little more about John here and talk about some of the stuff going on in Pennsylvania. We're going to introduce this gentleman, Hutch.
Okay.
How you feeling? Better?
Good.
Better for you?
Yep, that's perfect.
All right,
good.
Now we're trying to. Okay.
So John, first of all, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you guys are doing down there in Pennsylvania. I want to talk to you a little bit about election integrity because I know that's big on your radar.
Yeah.
And before we do that, I want to introduce the gentleman that you just brought to me today, Hutch, and the HTR from the Hutch Tavern?
Tap room. It's okay. It's a restaurant.
Room.
Yeah, right.
There you go. So tell us about yourself and tell us about Hutch Tap Room. Tell America.
Well, I'm just trying to get this. This is a podcast I used to do before the pandemic and before the world shut down, and I'm trying to get it back. John's been my first guest. I have a bunch of people lined up. We're going to do all sorts of things. It's called That's Good Baloney, the name of the tap room. I do it from my restaurant. My restaurant is in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. I have a small studio in here. I interview friends, guests. I try not to keep it. I try to keep it an open forum, just so I can, everybody can come in if they promote a band, if they're a politician, if they promote a business, if they have a good tale to tell. I'm just trying to get this off the ground like I used to. The reason I call it That's Good Baloney, my mother, I took care of her through the pandemic, and we were closed. We were She was 90 years old. Every night she liked to snack, and I'd either make her progresso soup or a bologna sandwich. And one day I made her a bologna sandwich, lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise. I mixed mustard and mayo together, and then I just made it a deluxe bologna sandwich. I brought it into her. She took a bite of it. She was sitting in her chair, and she's looked up at me, and she goes, "That's good bologna." And I said, "Mom, you just named my podcast for me."
I love that story. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we were introduced just today, Hutch and I, by my buddy John Marietta. John Marietta was introduced to me by my friend Ohio Brett, and huge shout out to my friend Ohio Brett, because he is
what a scoundrel.
He is. Wait till you know.
What part of Ohio? My mom's family was from Ohio.
Dublin, I think.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Okay, she was from Bedford, which is outside of Cleveland. Okay.
All right. So and he has made more introductions for me personally, more introductions to patriots nationwide than any other person I've encountered. He is just absolutely busting his hump out there trying to recruit patriots, freedom fighters, truth seekers, and I'm extremely grateful to him. So God love you, Brett, my brother. Keep up the good work. So let's go into a little bit, if we may, what's going on in Pennsylvania that you guys are working on. Let's talk about election integrity, because as far as I'm concerned, and I believe this goes without saying, as far as I'm concerned, there is rampant election fraud nationwide. It's been established. Dr. Douglas Frank has very clearly laid this out. Seth Keshel has laid it out. There are people in every state that are questioning the integrity of the elections, and we've been told a false narrative, America. We were told this is the safest or the most secure election in history. That's a giant pile of steaming BS. I call BS on it, and the people that are in the trenches looking at this issue are going to tell you exactly that. Fraud, corruption, rampant. So tell us about what's going on down there and what you guys are doing to hold these people accountable.
Well, let me leave that up to John. He's the one who's in the know.
Well, what I will tell you is one of the things we're doing right now is we're checking the voting records, the people that are been able to vote here in Fayette County. I have Lady Melanie Patterson. She's going through the mail records, from the Postal Service to find out where people live at. And what we're finding out, one of the biggest things she's found approximately 1,500 people that don't live in Fayette County that are able to still vote in Fayette County. She's identified two people that voted in one person in the last election that passed away in '96 that voted in the last election. There's another lady that voted up until 2016, I think, and she passed away in '94. So we're finding these things out now. That's where we're at with all that. The other thing is I have a lawsuit going into the federal court for them to address this issue, so they can force the state to clean up the voter rolls, and that's going to happen here in the next 24 hours probably.
Yeah, but is this current? I mean, there's been disputes in the voter. I mean, it's been a long time coming. There's been a lot of problems for a long time. This isn't anything new. Maybe they have found new ways to do things, but I mean, hell, go back to Al Gore and how they gerrymandered and just they found all kind of ways to manipulate the numbers. Yeah.
I agree, Hutch. I think it's always been. There's no question. It's always been there. And it absolutely baffles me that people would think that it doesn't exist. I understand if maybe you're not really all that aware of it, or that you don't think it's that bad. But
I didn't say that.
No, not
I
you.
just said
people in general.
Okay.
They have this delusion that it's just not even there, that it's this minor little thing. And we all know, those of us that are in the trenches that are looking at these issues and examining the data and the evidence that's in front of us, have no choice but to conclude that it's rampant. And I think they've just ramped it up steadily, like all the corruption in our government. They just
Due,
keep pushing it, right?
yeah. Due to more media exposure and things being able to be reported on and quicker, people find out about things quicker. It's becoming more and more apparent to people, but that doesn't mean that it hasn't always been there.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I'm saying is, we know
Well,
it's been there, and we know that every system we invent, just like every lock that's invented, there's a thief somewhere trying to figure out how to pick that lock. Every computer that's made, there's a hacker somewhere trying to figure out how to hack it. And these voting machines and all these mail-in ballots are just a ripe opportunity for voter fraud, and we know they're going to do it when they can.
Yeah, with the increased technology, we also need increased safeguards. Right.
Amen. Well
Well,
said.
just think about this. If you want to go back far enough, Nixon lost to Kennedy and it was Illinois where they felt, and they really felt that there was like a lot of people that voted at that election that really wasn't alive, but they just, it's like Hutch just said, the technology with. And you know what the biggest thing is, this is the biggest thing here. Everybody within instance knows what everybody else is doing anymore. I mean, it's just we're moving forward. Before you had to, it was hard to you had to look at ballots. You had to be able to decipher everything. But now it's on a CVR inside a machine, and all they got to do is pop them out and show us what's going on.
Well, with the technology, with the every actual, there used to be they would get people drunk or go to graveyards or whatever to get them to vote and all of. I mean, that's been around forever.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sure people.
But now that we have this technology, they could just as equally put out false narratives. And people don't know what to believe.
Yes,
but this is it's nothing that's really revolutionary new. The fact that there's been cheating.
I agree, and I think it's the scale and the audacity, the sheer audacity of it, of having people roll up in their vehicles to a voting box and start feeding in ballots. Is ludicrous. It's absolutely insane and ludicrous.
Hey, what allegedly, what did the mafia do for Kennedy, in Chicago and things like that? I'm being alleged,
Well said.
But I mean, this goes back forever. I mean, nothing's been honest about the election process.
I think we all agree on that. I'm going to totally agree with you on that. Yeah, 100%. So we know that there are people working nationwide to try to hold them accountable. One of them is what I call the Election Integrity Network. EIN, Election Integrity Network, is one of the groups that I have found. And I'm going to look that up in a moment and post the link. There's also Dr. Douglas Frank. He's been to Maine a couple of times and was hoping to get him back here again for the 3rd annual Maine Freedom Rally, but I don't think that's going to happen. And he has presented compelling evidence and very, very carefully documented and logical, rational, scientific evidence. John, thank you for using my quote in your previous cast there. The truth is the sword of God. And I've said that a million times, and I'll keep saying it because it's powerful. If you are telling the truth, you have tremendous power. And those that tell the truth don't have to keep track of what we say or because the truth is the truth every time. And if you examine and you look for the actual evidence, you will see that these concerns are all very valid and genuine, and all the people that are involved need to be held accountable. They need to be hauled out of their dark little corners, and the truth needs to be exposed, and they need to be held accountable, which everyone's all happy to say accountability when they're talking about Donald Trump, but they're not so happy about it when it applies to their guy, their person or their cause or whatever that is. It's a flagrant bias, and which is hurting us, I think, in terms of getting this done, getting accountability and transparency, because people won't support the effort because it's their guy, and they go, "Oh, my guy can't do anything wrong." So
there's been the concentrated effort to divide people. Now, when you think about the turn of the century political cartoons, people were pretty much in tune with how they wanted to, how everyone thought. The average man kind of thought, you went to the bars, you talked, now they're dividing everything on not on the issues, but on
Race, political
race,
party,
race,
gender,
gender.
ideology.
Right, and that's how they're splitting up the politics.
Yep. Republican, Democrat.
Right.
Excellent
Right.
point.
Yeah, and when I grew up, my dad was a Democrat, and he said, he was a union man. He worked in a Ford Motor Company. He was also a World War II vet, and he said, you're gonna register as a Democrat. When I was 18, this is in the 70s, late 70s, and if but because it was stood for the working man, it stood for the labor unions, it stood for the everyman. Now it's nothing. It's become totally different, totally corrupt.
Well, I can tell you, I can tell you this. I'm a registered Republican, and I've negotiated union contracts. And I used to purposely, when we would go into a contract negotiation, I'd purposely show up late because the company. Well, I'd walk in the door and I'd lay my stuff down and they'd say, "You're late." And I said, "Well, we can get started now. The Republicans here. I have to have somebody that has accountability between all of you." And I actually, the company hated me more as much as they disliked me. I don't say they hated me. They disliked me because I would ask the questions. And of course, then the union. I mean, I asked the hard questions, and I believe everybody deserves good health care. And I believe that if you're working full time, that should be provided to you, no matter what job you're at. I really believe. I mean, it should be provided. It should be given. I mean, that should be. I mean, it's a scale. I mean, and that's one of the main things we need to have for you and your family. I mean, that's how you keep people working. Affordable, a good wage is another thing. Just like you said, your dad said, he was a union man, and I understand that because my family, a lot of them worked in the coal mine back when I guess it would be John Lewis. What used to strike, and they would strike. They would go to work. A lot of them guys would go to work, and they didn't know if they was going to work that day or they were going to strike that day. And every time, like my grandmother said, they get a little bit more. They get a little bit more. And same way with the union, the steel workers. My dad, my uncle, my grandfather, they worked in the steel mill. And me and you are older. I'm 62. You're a little bit younger.
61.
You're 61. We've heard the stories about them trying to bring in about the fights at and all the different things that happened down at Clareton, down at Braddock, down at Cary Furnace, all the different places that Edgar Thompson. We can name them all. We're from that part of the world. We're from the part of the world that we dug the coal here, we made the coke here, and we made the steel here to save the world. And a lot of people don't realize that.
My father, I grew up with the stories like this. My father, he was a fireman on coal engines, and he would tell me how up in Altoona on Horseshoe Curve, he said we would take water at 60 miles an hour on the steam engines, and nobody could believe it. And then I found a guy had a video, and I showed it to my father. My dad was he quit school when in 10th grade to join the Navy when he was 17 years old. He fought in the Pacific, and he saw that everything change. His way. I don't want to sit here and become one of these the countries this, and I'm not going to make it my views, but this is just my father's views. He served in World War II. He defended his country. He left. He quit school to take care of his family. That's the way things were done before. Whenever I had to register for the draft, when I turned 18, he said, if they draft you, I'm going to cut your goddamn toe off because you're not going to fight for that.
Ooh. Wow. Wow. That's some strong language.
Well, sorry if I don't know where you're, I thought it would be best if I left it uncensored. Because God dang didn't come across right.
I'm fine with it, believe me. And ask anyone that knows me. I'm prone to swearing. It's one of
How
my
big's
biggest
your
flaws.
audience, Dana? This is the first time you and I have ever spoken. How big's your
Fair question. My audience varies. Here's the short story. Okay, virtually everything I've done in this realm has been sabotaged. From my domain being stolen twice. They shut me down on YouTube. Every time I make a move, they try to cut me off. But I'm still going. So right now it's varying anywhere between 50 people, and I had one YouTube video. I think I had 12,000 views on one of them. So there's a huge.
Sure, I experience the same sort of thing.
Yeah. So it's hard to measure, and people, a lot of the people that follow me are trolls, and I know they're trolls because they always have something, destructive and respectful to say, and without foundation or evidence, they're just, haha, you're stupid, haha, you're a dummy, you're one of those right-wing extremists, blah blah blah. What's ironic is I'm not actually a Christian, although I'm currently associating myself with a lot of Christians, just because we are aligned on certain issues. So people accuse me of being a Christian, and they're always very shocked when I tell them I am not a Christian, and I'm not aligning with people just because I'm in their religion. I'm aligning with them because I agree with their views and opinions, and the things that they're saying are things on which we are aligned.
Dare I say,
yeah, they're right.
Dare I say the morality?
Yes. Thank you. So, and my audience has sort of come and gone just from the perspective that each time I start making progress, I get cut off, thwarted. So, but I'm just going to keep going the way I'm going. I feel like I'm on the right path. And I've actually felt pretty optimistic lately that I'm finally getting enough people interested, especially here in Maine, because Maine is a powerful state. We don't realize our power, but we have it. There's a saying, as Maine goes, so goes the nation. And it's true. We've elected more independent elected servants here than any other state. We love independence. We love people that think their own thoughts and do their own thing and don't, follow along the horde of lemmings. And that's one of the reasons I love this state and love living here, is because, we like to think for ourselves. And I think I'm finally seeing enough Mainers coming together that we can make some progress on the issues that are affecting us in Maine. And I'm cautiously optimistic because there's people like John, and this is well earned. I'm not, John and I aren't best friends. I wasn't the best man at his wedding or whatever. I'm just aligned with him because he's making progress on the right issues. He's asking the right questions. He's pushing the right buttons, pursuing lawful solutions and remedies, which is what everyone in America should be doing. So I do believe we will finally get enough momentum and finally get enough people on board to start making progress on these issues.
I'd like to add, I have a public restaurant, a public house. I'm friends with Republicans and Democrats, my county commissioners. I am really not, I have John on because I want everybody to have a voice, everyone to have a voice. I'm not on here to spout my politics, but I do think that there needs to be a change in everything. Everything is just imploding. And,
Agreed.
I try to keep my personal opinions off the air because I have to. Everybody that comes in here has to have a stake, and I don't want them to not come in here because they don't like what I say.
The hamburgers are good too.
The hamburgers are good too.
The hamburgers are real good.
I don't want to say I'm disagreeing. And he even looked like wimpy when he said that.
So let's.
You can pay me Tuesday.
What's that?
You can pay me Tuesday for a hamburger today. So let's throw this out there. It's Hutch Tap Room. And where are you at? Hutch's Tap Room. And where are you at?
Connellsville, Pennsylvania. Fayette County. John is a
the recorder of deeds for Fayette
County.
Deeds.
Okay. Works in Fayette County, Uniontown. It's the county seat. I'm in Connellsville, Pennsylvania. I'm a dinosaur. I'm an old. I'm stuck in the past.
Careful.
But I think everybody's entitled to opinions as long as we talk about them, as long as they're talked about civilly.
Respectfully, thank you.
Respectfully and civilly, and everybody has something to learn from somebody. I mean,
Amen.
whether you disagree with their lifestyle or whatever, that you can there's still an opportunity to pick up knowledge or respect somebody. I mean, I said that about my father. My father was he grew up in the Great Depression. That's the kind of work ethic I have. My mother, we ran this place. This is a family-owned restaurant since 1963. When I was born, I used to ride my big wheel around in here when I was a kid. Me and my cousins used to turn the lights off and play Dark Shadows. I
love it.
So I see the world a lot through my parents' eyes because I worked with them. I respected them. I saw with how they grew, the stories they told, meeting their families, seeing how, my mother was a Sicilian, and when we moved to this area, I was discriminated. I was called everything when you got on the bus. I won't get into that.
We know.
Yeah, I mean, it was no different than what happens a lot now.
Yeah.
Being a fat kid in the 70s named Albert, it was ruthless. I mean,
Ouch.
hey was every day I got on the bus, but seeing how my mother and father handled situations like that, and things. I got in a fight across the street with a guy one time. My dad, when I was 14 years old, got me in a car, took me to Uniontown, about 15 miles up the road, and took me to the local boxing gym.
Good.
And he was like, "You're going to learn to defend yourself."
Good. Good on him.
But that's the kind of ethics that I grew up with, and seeing things. Seeing things now, it's quite different.
Yeah, I think the things that unite us, which I try to really stay on this track. It's difficult for me, but the things that unite us are things like the aspect of being a constitutional American. If we divorce ourselves of these labels of Republican and Democrat, and look at the so-called news, so-called mainstream media, what do? They're constantly saying, today in Washington, the Democrats did this, or the Republicans did this.
It's all opinion driven. It's not news.
Exactly. Right. And they're dividing us by throwing those labels out. They're saying Democrats did this, and they want you to go, oh, those terrible Democrats. Well, I know Democrats that are decent people, like you were talking about earlier. We can't condemn them as a whole, nor can we condemn Republicans as a whole.
Right,
That's what they want. They want us to take a side, fight to the death, and they are the ones that benefit. The wealthy elites are the ones that benefit.
Right, just keep a split.
We, the people, created this problem, and we, the people, have to fix it. And that's what I'm seeing going on. That's why when originally the first time I met John, I said, I'm going to help you, brother. I'm going to help you get your message out there. Okay, we're going to get you elected. We're going to get you in front of as many people as we can, because we don't need this mainstream media nonsense. We have this technology available to us, what you guys were talking about earlier, and I'm glad we circled back to this, because we have this means of communicating among ourselves. We don't need the media to unite us or connect us or get our message out there. And that's why they're trying to silence our voices, because they don't want us to be communicating among ourselves.
My theory, I'll expand upon that just a touch on that. Like I said, this is a public house. I grew up I learned how to read and write by the cigarette machine. I would go up and say, "Ooh, Winston, Marlboro." I could go behind the bar and look at the bottles of liquor, and that's how I got my ABCs. I saw people come in and talk about, everything, politics, life. All of that has been erased. Whether not only through technology, let's say laws, let's say whoever, whatever, Bud Light bans, everything. Young people now don't congregate anymore. They're no longer. I think I'm taking all John's airtime.
It's okay. This is good stuff, don't you think, Dana?
I do, actually, and I was going to say, and I can't speak for John, obviously, but he seemed very content to let you roll along. You were on a roll too, so I was feeling the energy.
I mean, people don't sit around and discuss, in churches maybe, but then again, that's small. That's why the Christians are being persecuted now, because they're a voting force.
Indeed.
One reason. One of the reasons. One of the many. Yeah. But they're trying to people they don't get along. They don't meet and talk. And now media is being nothing but monitored. And
Yeah, and if people don't like what you have to say, and again, I just got done explaining this as you've experienced. I've had videos taken down on YouTube. I have a friend out in California. Her name is Peggy Hall, and you go to thehealthyamerican.org, check out her website. It's fantastic, and she's been speaking truth since day one about all sorts of issues. And she has had videos taken down, which she was actually quoting the FDA, and was told it was misinformation, and her video was taken down off of YouTube. Mm-hmm. And I've had the same thing happening where I was quoting verifiable facts. I can show you that this is true. My claim is true. Here it is. Here's the evidence. Right. They took me right down. They shut me down. They said it was misinformation. I've had at least 3 or 4 videos taken off of YouTube.
There's
just think about the premise of this for a second. This is what these powers that be are telling you. They're telling you that there are people out there who are so stupid, not you, of course, other people who are so stupid that they will hear me making a claim, immediately believe me, and then make a catastrophic decision based on the information they heard from me, which will cause them harm because they will immediately believe me without verifying or investigating anything I am saying. Therefore, we're going to remove that so that you are not allowed to even see it, and then you won't have to worry about being fooled. Again, not you, right? The other guy.
I get it. No, I get it. Yeah.
It's insane. The logic is warped.
But that's how it's just like the same logic. If you're in a relationship and I cheated, well, then I'm assumed that she's cheating too. And that's how they try. And if they do something wrong, they're going to say that they're doing it too. And they're going to, hey, I am an open-minded man. I don't think that anybody should have to worry about how they want to live their lifestyle, but I don't think everything should be exposed to the world to see either. You know what I mean? I believe in God. I don't know why the hypocrisy. I mean, like you said, you're not a Christian, but
I do believe in God.
Okay, Joe Biden's a Catholic, and he's also pro-abortion. I mean, but that's bullshit. I mean, you can't be both.
You can't be both.
You can't be both.
Well said. Yeah,
you can't be both.
Yeah, and it's a volatile subject, but I always go right there immediately, and I say I don't like the term abortion. Abortion is a sterile term. It's a safe. They use misleading terminology. That's what the devil does. They call it reproductive rights, health, reproductive care. It's not. It's murder. You rip the baby into pieces and then suck it out with a vacuum.
We're getting kind of deep here, but like whenever they say, a woman's right for her body's right. Well, if you're aborting a woman, where is their rights? If you're aborting a female, so that goes out the window.
The right to the baby. The baby is a living sentient being, and
but I mean, if they just drop it on the woman, like a woman has the rights over her body. Well, then if you're aborting a female, then you just chuck that out.
Contradicted yourself. Yeah,
right.
The devil is full of lies, deceit, contradictions. Gaslighting. That's the world we live in, and that's the world of information. And even in the so-called freedom community, I have had to confront the reality that some people that I thought were big freedom fighters and heavy hitters and on the side of truth really weren't. They're either self-serving or they're plants. And you always know sooner or later they lie. Sooner or later you catch them lying. The Christian Bible says you will know them by their fruits, and I 100% agree with that phrase. You will know them by their fruits. Men of honor do the right thing. We tell the truth. We show up. We protect children. And scumbags don't. They're self-serving. They lie. They manipulate. They cheat. They steal. They make excuses. They get angry at you if you dare oppose them. And that's the difference. And it's right in front of you. God gave you discernment. Use your discernment. So end of my rant there.
Well, you're exactly right. When you oppose somebody, of course they're going to get mad because they don't see it your way. But if it's the truth, it is the truth. It's just what you have to stand on that. You can't change. You can't change let's get real here. Well, right now the duopoly and is what's killing our country. There's no doubt about it. We need to work. We need to figure out how to work together to make this happen.
Amen.
To change things. One of the big things that I really believe in, and Hutch, we talked about this when he was on my on my podcast, but we talked about it a little bit. One of the main things I feel that we have to do is we have to cut taxes. Raising taxes doesn't work. We've done that for 200 years, and it's got us $35 trillion in debt. So why don't we go the other way? Why don't we cut taxes?
I agree.
And not just for the top 6%.
All I want to see is the proper representation. Because that's what they said. Like, no taxation without proper representation.
Exactly.
Just show me the proper representation. Show me where the money goes. Okay.
Yes. Yes, thank you. And that would have been what I would have thought immediately when you said what you said, John, but for the record, I agree with you completely. We should cut taxes because most of the money that we are taxed, we the people are taxed, is wasted and stolen and frittered away. And we are facilitating it by sending the same sons of bitches back to do the same reprehensible things that they've done for decades and decades. So we need to hold them accountable for all the money they're spending. Where does it go? Exactly what does it buy? We have federal agencies and bureaus that are just giant bloated ticks sucking the blood out of we the people. No purpose.
Social services.
Yeah.
Ukraine.
Yes.
I mean, like, why is that, take care of the homeless vet on the street before you send the money to Ukraine. I mean, yeah.
And you're right, Dana. I mean, Nancy Pelosi went to the senior prom with George Washington, and she's still in D.C. So I mean, this is where we're at. I mean, just think about it. I mean, she did. Have you looked at her lately? I'm pretty sure her and George was at the senior prom together. I mean, and I'm not picking on her, but Mitch McConnell's another one.
I mean, she's still wearing his powdered wig.
Yeah. But anyways, this is where we're at. And one of the things that I believe in, and I truly believe in, is I believe that we have to take care of our own backyards first.
Amen. Thank you.
I mean, we got people right here in Fayette County that are struggling. I mean, they're living, if they're lucky enough to live paycheck to paycheck, and keep a roof over their head and keep the house warm, somewhat warm in the wintertime. I mean, we need to take care of Fayette County first.
Agreed.
Well, if we're talking about, the phrase that was coined, trickle down economics, that Ronald Reagan quoted that one, right?
Right.
I depend on people having enough money, spare time, and being able to go out and, enjoy having a steak or a hamburger or libation or just, and I'm telling you, I'm considering closing because I can't do it anymore. I mean, I have put so much of my own money into place the last several years that it's almost, I don't have it to put in. And I'm just another example. I know many restaurants around here are closing, all kind of businesses. Not only can't they get people to work, but there's nobody. There's not the only places around here that are doing well are the corporate restaurants. There's all these that people are brainwashed to go to corporate stores.
Yep.
Just like the Walmart shuts down the hardware store. The Olive Garden shuts down the mom and pop Italian restaurant.
Yep.
I mean, the corporate conundrum is just strangling everything. It starts from the top. Exactly what John says. It needs to be people taking care of people. That includes small business.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a simple decision for a person that is loyal to their nation and loyal to we the people that I'm going to go to your place and spend my money and not go to Olive Garden, who pay their people peanuts for wages and hoard their corporate wealth. And this is the same thing I told people when Walmart started moving in. I told them, don't shop there. They didn't listen to me.
Well, here it's
they went there anyway.
Dollar Generals are taking over places like around here, the dollar stores.
I'm saying, whatever the guy is that moves in, don't shop there. It's that simple. And they'll go, oh, well, look at all the money I can save. Well, why are you saving money? What's going on that's causing you to save this money? And you have to ask yourself at the end of every day, is this money you need to feed your family? Like if you go to Walmart and you save yourself, $50 on a big purchase, is that going to, like feed your family for a week? Or are you just trying to save a few bucks because it's convenient? And
well, people don't,
cost?
they don't think in the terms of like a corporate umbrella. Let's say Olive Garden, for example, is also under the same corporate umbrella as PepsiCo, Tyson, whatever, General Mills.
Right.
They can afford to lose money because they're buying their own products.
Right.
So they balance their balance sheet with, hey, we have tax write-offs here and we're losing money, but we're putting every guy out of business because we can sell it cheaper. People don't realize the business aspect of how the corporate structure is just smothering the small business.
Excellent point. And for those who do not know, Walmart used to sell specific kinds of medication when they opened their stores and they opened the Walmart pharmacy. They would sell specific kinds of medication that were notoriously expensive. They would sell them at a severe loss just to specifically drive out of business the local pharmacies. That's the kind of crap they pull. And we reward them by going there and buying their products. So at the end of every day, don't go there. And I avoid Walmart like the plague. There are times when I have to go there because I literally can't get the thing I need without going somewhere. And there's no better solution available to me. And that offends me.
I actually have one, probably a Walmart, a quarter mile from my house. And it's the closest store. I'll go there in a pinch. I'm not going to say I don't, but I also try to spread the wealth. Because there is such a thing as convenience. I get the convenience. I'm not there to get it cheaper. It's there because it's close and I only have 10 minutes. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say I don't go to Walmart. But when it's a lifestyle where that's all people want to do is support corporate, and they don't think of, if you like the biscuits at Texas Roadhouse, well, go have the biscuit, but don't go there only there. I mean, you gotta advertising. The big budget advertising is media's crushing the little guy. Yep.
Yeah. And media is very powerful, and most of their money, for those of you who do not know, comes from drug companies. Probably it's estimated 70 to 75% of the revenue generated by television stations, television networks, is coming from pharmaceutical companies, who are the most vile, despicable corporations on the planet, as far as I'm concerned. And it says a lot that they're allowed to simply advertise their products and tell you, be sure to ask your doctor about this medication. And the side effects include suicidal thoughts or actions. So
or greasy stool. I've seen that one before.
Yeah, nasty stuff. So
now, people don't. I don't know if people do drinking games anymore. I don't know, like where you see
sure
something.
They do. I'm sure they do.
Well, I don't do it often, but I watch movies with my girlfriend, and we'll have it on like Tubi or one of these streaming platforms that has commercials.
Right.
It's a free platform. Right. And every commercial would have Sky Rizzy there. And I just find that the most ridiculous name for any pharmaceutical. And there are people happy and they're dancing and talking about Sky Rizzy. And so now every time I'm watching at my girlfriend's house, and it's like, oh, take a shot of beer and Sky Rizzy. That's my drinking game, Sky Rizzy.
Yeah, there are so many now. I've lost. There's Sky Rizzy, and there's Ozempic, and there's Vraylar, and there's just and they're openly the networks are openly pushing products like Ozempic for weight loss.
Yeah, all those mother Pfizers. Yeah, bunch of mother Pfizers out there.
So let's go ahead. Let's bring it back in for a second and talk about, first of all, John Marietta, as John the Hillbilly, has a radio show. You do your show every week, Tuesday night at 4:15.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're streaming to Facebook?
Yeah, we're streamed to Facebook. I'm streamed to Rumble, and Truth Social. There's 5 or 6 different platforms that we're streamed to. So
I'm going to put in some links after we're done here. So you got all of you out there, check out John Marietta, Hillbilly John Radio live Tuesday nights, 4:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And Hutch, it's been great chatting with you and meeting you. And I'm really glad John got us together. I've enjoyed our conversation. You're streaming also now. Is that correct? Are you planning on streaming?
Yeah, I'm just getting my platform back up and running. Like I said, before the world shut down, I had a decent little following, but I after I lost my mother and everything, it took me a little bit of time to get my creative juices going again. And I'm trying to reignite them. And John's gracious enough to come down and be my actual first guest, and now you're my second guest, Dana. And maybe we can do something again in the future.
Absolutely, definitely will. It's been a pleasure chatting with you both. There's so much more we could talk about, but we are kind of pushing our time limit, and we've been podcasting a long time between yours and mine before. But everyone out there watching, thank you so much for watching. Share this information.
How many people do you have watching today?
We had 8 viewers, 9 I think at one point simultaneously. So we'll see who else follows up on it after the podcast. And I know I'm being censored, very actively censored on Facebook. John has a pretty decent following on his Facebook pages, and we'll get there. We'll get to the point where we have enough people listening that we'll be able to really have an impact. And I think that's going to be relatively soon. I do believe that. So,
well,
thank you both again.
It's going to be a reckoning one way or another.
I agree, and I'm looking forward to it. Very much looking forward to it. I'm pretty much ready to retire. I've been doing this for years, thanklessly, and it's it's hard work, man, and trying to lead the people that don't want to see. People really don't want to see the truth. They don't want to believe that the corruption is as bad as it is, and unfortunately, it is. It is that bad, and it is. Something that we've created. We, the people, have created it. We elect the same people. We send them back to the office. We don't hold them accountable. We allow them to brainwash us into thinking they're wonderful, fantastic people and they can do no wrong. And then we refuse to hold them accountable because we can't admit maybe we got fooled. Maybe they weren't that great a person after all. Maybe they lied. Maybe they're cheating. Maybe they're stealing. Maybe they're doing really, really, really bad things, like super high level evil things. And we, the people, need to pay attention to that. Jeffrey Epstein was not a fluke. There's islands all over this world owned by very, very, very wealthy people. All the super duper wealthy people of this world are all working together in cahoots, mostly. And we, the people, can hold them accountable if we unite, stop complaining and bickering about the stupid things that divide us, and instead concentrate on the things that we want, that we all want, because at the core of it all, we are all constitutional Americans. That's where we need to unite.
The new adage is, strength and diversity. Well, if that's the case, then we all need to get together instead of being diverse.
Amen. Yeah. Well said. All right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, and look forward to doing this again soon. Our audience, we thank you. My friend Mark Brown's been on with us, and we appreciate you, Mark.
I just got on the comments. How you doing, Mark? I see right on, guys. And there's another guy, Brendan. Yeah.
Brendan Statler.
Beth Curtis. Yeah, that's great. Yep. Nice to meet you guys.
So, yeah. Thank you both again. Thank you, my audience. Thank you, America. Let's all get together. Remember, the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all laws that are repugnant to it are null and void. You know your power, you know your authority, and become constitutional Americans.
Well,
and the government very quickly is going to have to do our bidding instead of us doing their bidding.
Isn't that why we're referred to as constituents?
Well said.
Okay.
All righty. John, how do you have an out? John does a thing on his show, and I want to hear that because it's a great out. Tell us, brother.
You're going to have to, I don't have it with me right now, and I don't want to stumble through it. Can you give me 1 second?
Yeah, we'll give you a second. Take your time.
Okay.
All right.
Uh-oh. Now I'm concerned.
It's a great little bit. I love it. He's got to get on his computer, and hopefully it doesn't run out of power. But John, thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Appreciate the compliments. Make sure you check out
Mr. Lucas. How are you? Actually, Mr. Lucas is the one who put me and Hillbilly together here.
Hillbilly together, nice. Well done, sir.
John Lucas comes into the restaurant and and he refers to himself as the renegade. So every time he gets on one
love
of my Facebook posts, John Lucas will say "renegade approved."
Renegade approved. Yeah, John's a wordsmith. There's no doubt about it. So, anyways, here we go. On this road called life, you have to take the good with the bad. Smile when you're sad, love what you got, and remember what you had. Always forgive, but never forget. People change. Things go wrong. Just remember the ride goes on. God bless each and every one of you, and God bless America. I am John Marietta, and I am the hillbilly.
God bless you all. Thank you for tuning in with us and meeting my two special guests. Be sure to check each of them out because they both have powerful voices. And America, let's unite. Let's get on the same page. And remember, we're constitutional Americans. God bless you all. Angry Citizen signing off.